I am of the view, if there is a court of law that hears me completely and then has the conscience to pass the same order, it is my bounden duty to follow it. You see, the data of rabies and dog bites is skewed and completely incorrect. The problem is not as bad as people make it out to be. Pollution, which is killing me, look at the AQI, right? That is not such a big issue. But this issue is being compounded and blown out of proportion.
The Supreme Court, in a controversial order, has once again ordered the removal of stray dogs from public spaces across the country. A 3-judge bench of the Supreme Court, citing the increasing number of dog bite incidents across the country, has ordered that stray dogs be picked up, vaccinated and neutered from educational institutions, bus stands, railway stations and all other public spaces. The order, however, hasn't gone well with animal rights activists who argue that there aren't enough dog shelters in this country and that community dogs also have a right to coexist. Consider the case of national capital Delhi. According to a report, Delhi has close to 10 lakh dogs but only 40 shelters with a capacity of 5,000. So the million-dollar question is, where will these stray dogs go? We have with us Senior Advocate Percival Billimoria, and we'll try understanding the legal and practical nuances of this order.
On 11th August, the Supreme Court ruled that you have to pick up stray dogs and shove them into animal shelters. On 22nd August, another bench provides some sort of relief saying that, you know what, the dogs that have been picked up, you need to release them into the same area, locality where they were picked up from. Now there's this third bench who yesterday ruled that we have to again pick them up, and now they've also expanded the jurisdiction, which is now pan-India, and you now have to put them into animal shelters again, and they won't be relocated to the same place as such. So, sir, I want to ask and understand, why is there this legal inconsistency between these judgments, and do you see that yesterday's judgment, do you see that in violation, contradiction with the ABT rules?
So it's not a third bench, it is the same second bench, the 3-judge bench that made the ruling yesterday. Now, yes, of course, these are in violation of ABC rule. There's no question about it. Now, look, I have been in touch with many animal activists, not just necessarily dog activists, but animal rights activists. And I can tell you that there is a lot of anger, fury against A, the Supreme Court, B, the government, and C, very importantly, the media. Now, let me articulate this. First of all, why the Supreme Court? Because, first of all, you must understand that after the second judgment, which is of the 3-judge bench, was delivered, the Supreme Court said that if there is anybody who wants to implead in favor of the animal rights movement, then you must deposit money. Okay. Now, we on the animal rights movements, you have NGOs which are struggling, and despite this, people have deposited the money. But I just want to say that this is very unusual. I don't recall a time. I may be wrong. Please feel to correct me, but I don't see any judgment in the past where the Supreme Court has said, pay to be heard. The real issue that has to be tackled is vast, mass-scale sterilization. This is the only way which has been proven in the past to solve this problem. All right. See, you cannot deny that there is a problem. Right. I'm not one of those who say there is no problem. There is an issue, and the issue arises because we can't in society convince everyone to love dogs, right? And dogs react according to the way humans react to them. Okay, so the problem is not really the dogs, it's the reaction of some of the humans who interact with them. But nevertheless, you can't convince them to start loving dogs overnight. So therefore, we have an issue. Now, the only way to control this issue is sterilization. There are scientific papers that say this. There are there's anecdotal evidence, there is empirical evidence. The method is known as CNRV: catch, neuter, vaccinate, and drop back to the same place that the dogs came from. Now, this second aspect, the last aspect, drop back to the same place, is very, very crucial. Why is this crucial? Because dogs are territorial. So if you have two dogs in your lane, they are okay with each other. They are very loving to all the humans who are there and who are the caregivers. But if you put a third alien dog in that lane, there will be fights. This is exactly what has happened at the JL Nehru Stadium. There was an incident where two coaches are supposed to have been bitten. I say supposed to have been because there is subsequent video recording of the coaches which state that it was not even a bite. In fact, the Brazilian coach, the Kenyan coach said that I thought it was just my friend pinching me, mazak kar raha tha mere se. All right. Now the difficulty is that even after impleadment, the same bench, the three-judge bench, said that okay, we are not going to listen to you. So it's a double whammy. You have to pay money to be there as a party, and then you are not listened to. I think, to my mind, I'm sorry, but this is objectionable. I am of the view, if there is a court of law that hears me completely and then has the conscience to pass the same order, it is my bounden duty to follow it. I may not like it, but as an officer of the court, I will follow it. But when I have not been heard, if I had been heard, I would have told them that the incident at the stadium happened because there has been indiscriminate relocation. That is a problem. And now with this order, that problem is going to compound. It's going to be even more. Mark my words, there will be even more incidents like this. When you introduce a stray dog which is alien and not return it to its own natural habitat, then there is a clash. Everyone knows this. More than 90% of incidents take place because of this problem. Secondly, there are many issues. You see, the data of rabies and dog bites is skewed and completely incorrect. The problem is not as bad as people make it out to be. It is skewed. It is skewed because every time you take a rabies shot, it is counted as a bite. So if you are bitten and someone recommends a rabies course, you have to take 5 injections every time. So one incident is taken as 5. It is extrapolated. So to that extent, it is at least 5 times more. Moreover, there is a protocol. Okay, and I think the vaccine companies have to be questioned about this. There is a protocol that says if you go, I was just crashed. It is a pet dog and vaccinated. No. But still, our protocol says that you must go through it. The data does not account for this. The data also does not account for the fact that a large number of the bites are by pet dogs. Why? Because the pet dogs are isolated in small apartments. They get restless and they react to other humans. This is a problem, right? So you segregate the data by pet dogs, take out the extrapolation, and then you see the numbers. Also, the number of rabies cases have fallen. So you cannot play fast and loose with data. If they had listened to us, this would have been explained to the Supreme Court. It is not as big an issue as is being made out to be. And you know why all the animal groups are angry? They are angry because on the same day, the Supreme Court rejected an early hearing application to do something about pollution. So now people are saying that pollution, which is killing me, look at the AQI, right? That is not such a big issue. But this issue is being compounded and blown out of proportion. Nobody blinked an eyelid. The common man, it is really the panwala, the ironing man, etc., on the roads who take care of these dogs. And unlike the popular image, right now, everyone says, oh, this is an elitist habit. It is not. It is not an elitist habit. Please grow up and find the truth. It is really the common man who shares his bedding with the street dogs when it gets cold. It is the man on the street. This is a humanitarian issue. It's an issue of animals. This is their traditional home. You have grown up. Delhi is full of villages. Right? When I first came to Delhi, while passing to Delhi, I found X village and Y village, and I was surprised because the fact is the way Delhi expanded, it grew up around villages. We are in their land.
How is the government or the local authorities actually planning to enforce this? Because according to a report, for instance, Delhi has around 10 lakh stray dogs, but then there are around only 40 shelters that have a cumulative capacity of around 5,000 dogs. So we don't have animal shelters to begin with.
So that's one of the issues, because they said designated shelters. Now, we don't know what they mean by designated shelters. There is indeed a lot of capacity, but the point is that at the end of the day, a shelter, according to the ABC rules, is only for sick and infirm animals. The solution is not to put them in shelters. The solution is do ABC. ABC is animal birth control. Incident or something, they pick up the dog and take it for sterilization at random. That's not going to work. Sterilization has not worked. Also, because I'm sorry to tell you that there are adequate funds, but these funds have been squandered. You can make what you want out of this statement. So this idea of a dog pound, I mean, there was one, I think, somewhere in Jodhpur. I have some horrid details about how that dog pound functioned. So you have to listen to this, because that what you are prescribing is not the solution. There are better solutions. We are not saying do not, nobody, I at least for once am not happy leaving dogs on the road. Okay, they have a very difficult life. So therefore they are prone to accidents, and it's not also something that is desirable. Nobody is saying it is desirable, but if they are there, they have to be taken care of humanely. Now, if you pass an order like this, I mean, today you are going to have protests all over. There is one, at 8, I think 6 o'clock, there was something happening. I mean, I'm getting requests to attend protests regularly, and not just from Delhi. This is all over. All right. See, the last order of Justice Pardiwala was only Delhi NCR. Okay. Now people all over are waking up and finding that this is all over.
Right. So now that the protests have broken out, how do you see the situation going forward?
So we will have to make an application for modification and review. And hopefully the bench will give us that proper hearing. And then they said that they will. In fact, they said that this would be an interim order. Now, again, there is a issue, because an interim order is only one which is reversible. So if there is a final direction in the interim order, then I don't know what exactly was meant by that. But we are hoping that it will mean that we will be given a proper hearing.
Thank you for speaking.
Thank you.